Good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for joining this demonstration webinar tonight for the new eNVD features that have just been released by Integrity Systems Company. It's great to have you here tonight. My name is Cherie Young. I'm the Communications Manager at Integrity Systems Company, and I'll be your host for this evening's webinar. Later, I'll be joined by Romy Wahab, who is ISC's Product Strategy Manager for the eNVD system. Romy will be taking you through a live demonstration of the new features, which were released into the web and the app system just last week. So they're quite new, but he will give you a good run through of them tonight. So it's great that you're all here for this. Just to let you know, there are 2 webinars planned for the demonstration series that we're running at the moment for producers. The next one is on next Monday night, the 18th of March from 7 p.m. to 8 p.m. Same time as tonight, but next Monday. The Rego link just got put in the chat. So I'd really encourage you to sign up for that one as well if you haven't already. There's quite a lot of new things to show you. So we decided to break the content up into 2 webinars just so it wasn't too overwhelming. So each webinar will cover different topics. So it'd be great if you can make it. But if you can't, if you register, you'll also get the recording. So we're recording this session tonight, and we have lots of resources available that ISC's made to help producers use the eNVD system. So I'll be sending those out, as well as answers to all the questions that have so far come in and the ones that will continue to come in tonight. We'll put those all in a document for you so that you've got all the information there. So tonight we had over 1,200 producers register for this session, which is incredible. So thank you all for your time in coming along. We really appreciate that, and we will definitely be doing our best to answer your questions tonight. We've had quite a few come through registration, which is excellent, and we'll be dropping those answers into the Q&A as we go through. We have got a team of very experienced Integrity Systems Company staff members working tonight in the background to also answer your questions on anything eNVD related or ISC related. They can help you. So please, as thoughts come to mind, just put them in the Q&A and we'll do our best to get to them as well. We're just really hoping for questions rather than comments, just because there's so many of you. We're just really trying to get to the questions and help you get the answers that you need. So just now, before we go any further, I'll just take you through the agenda of what we'll be covering tonight. So firstly, I'm going to give you a bit of an explanation about what an LPA eNVD is. Then I will take you on a bit of an eNVD journey, so where the eNVD started and where we're up to now, and just as it continues to evolve as an electronic form for you to do your consignments with. I will then give you a bit of a rundown, high-level rundown of what the key new features are, and then we'll cross over to Romy, who's going to take you through the demonstration where he'll have the web system on his computer and the app up, and you'll be able to see in real time how to actually go about operating the systems. So Romy will take you through accessing the eNVD via the myMLA dashboard. He'll show you how you can easily switch between multiple PICs. So if you're a multiple PIC holder, you don't have to go in and out of the eNVD system now. You can just toggle through your PICs. So that should be a lot simpler for those with multiple PICs. He'll show you how you can create a consignment and then turn that into a time-saving template, which means if you are sending regular consignments, you can just call up that template and then edit minor details, as in the dates and head count and things like that. So you don't have to keep repeating yourself over and over again. He'll also show you how to add viewers, so third-party viewers to your consignment, because that's a new thing that the system can now do, as well as adding attachments like health declarations and other documentation, and how to add comments, which is another new feature that we've added. And the last one is how to share consignments. So there's lots of different ways you can share consignments, and Romy will be able to show you through how to do that. So yeah, again, please put your questions in the Q&A box as they come to mind. We'll really be working hard to answer your questions and get through them all tonight. What ones we don't get through will appear in the document that will get sent out to you following the webinar. To really help us answer the questions, we ask that you include your state in your question, because sometimes that can help us better answer your question if you let us know what state you're in. And again, if we can just keep them to questions rather than comments, that would just be really good because there is a lot to get through. We have got a combined help page on our ISC website now, and I think that just went in the chat for you as well, which has got web and app resources combined into one page. There's a lot there broken up into supply chain groups. So for producers, there's a whole section, transporters, there's a whole section, agents, etc. So really good resource to go in and have a look at what's on there, but we'll also be sending you out links following this webinar. So there is lots of information to come, lots of information to take in tonight, but yeah, sit back, pop your questions in and we'll do our best to get to them. So next is just, I wanted to give you a bit of a rundown of what an LPA eNVD is. So basically an LPA eNVD is a legal document which communicates the food, safety and treatment status of every animal as they move through the supply chain. They can be completed on your desktop computer, your tablet, or your mobile device using either the eNVD web-based system or the mobile app. They are the fast, easy way to complete livestock consignments. They are also free and more accurate than paper forms, and they ensure that all that livestock information is digitally captured, which is just going to become more and more important as time goes by. They also mean you don't have to buy the book, which, you know, is a good thing once you get your head around how to use the eNVD system. Now, producers who are livestock production assurance accredited can access the eNVD system. So for those who aren't sure or looking for a bit of a refresher, the LPA program is Australia's red meat on-farm assurance program. It underpins market access for our meat, and it provides evidence of livestock history and on-farm practices as livestock move through the supply chain. So it's also really important to remember, and we understand there's a lot for you all to sort of understand, but it's really important to remember that even if you're using an eNVD, you still need to ensure your livestock are transferred on the NLIS, which is a separate system. So ISC is working to streamline this process, but as it stands today, anyone sending animals needs to complete their eNVD, and then the receiver is responsible for logging this on the NLIS database. So we'll keep you updated as this continues to evolve, but that's the way it is at the moment, and we're looking at integrating those in the future. So just as a bit of a recap, the key benefits of getting involved with using the eNVD system is you create a digital record for your livestock movement. So this reduces manual data entry as the animals move through the supply chain. So as you can imagine, this creates like greater efficiencies through the whole supply chain. They're easy to read. They can't get lost, damaged, things like that along the way. And once you get the hang of using them and get comfortable with the system, they will really save you time, because you'll be able to set up a template for a consignment that you might send regularly to the same destination. All of those details can be saved in there. Your destination PIC can be saved, and then you just have to call up that template and edit some, you know, details around movement dates, number of head, things like that, and then you've got a new one to go. So once that's all set up, it definitely will save you time. As I mentioned before, they're free, which is pretty good. And eNVD users can also get a $30 discount on their LPA accreditation. So that's another bit of a sweetener there on the eNVD system as well. So now, next up, I just wanted to give you a bit of an overview of the eNVD journey that this system's been on. So the eNVD web-based system was first introduced in 2017, and electronic NVDs now account for 29% of all livestock consignments created. The mobile app was the next sort of chapter in this journey, and it was launched in November 2022. The mobile app was really launched because internet connectivity was a big block for the eNVD web-based system, because out in the yards or in the paddocks, you don't have service. And the app was developed with a feature that meant that you could actually transfer consignment data via the QR code function, even without internet, and it would sync once everyone was back in service again. So that's been the big kind of feature release part of the app. that was, one of the big calls for it back in November 2022. So since then, the app has been now downloaded over 30,000 times, and we are seeing usage of it continue to increase, which is really, really good. And we're hoping that will just continue to increase as the system becomes more and more improved and we have a broader sort of accessibility of it across the supply chain. So that kind of brings me to the feedback we received through all these launches. There's been a lot of industry feedback and discussions around what the eNVD needs to be able to do for it to be really usable by users. So based off that feedback, we came up with 13 new features that would form a project that IC's just spent the last 18 months working on to improve the system. And so those features went live on the 1st of March. But the big ticket item, I guess, amongst them all was this broadening out of the supply chain. So trying to enable other supply chain users like transporters, agents, sale yards, processors to be able to interact with the eNVD, particularly in the web, as that was something that they couldn't do before. So that's, I guess, one of the key features that have come through. And now ISC is working with those different supply chains to integrate the eNVD into their operations and their business processes. So we appreciate that this is a big change and it does take time, but this is kind of the direction we're heading in. So then I just had one more slide to show you, which is just a bit of an overview of the features themselves that are new that you might see if you've been in the system lately. So I guess the big one, as I mentioned earlier, is the accessibility for the broader supply chain. So it definitely is now usable by all those groups, the transporters, agents, sale yards, feedlots and processors. It has a comments feature now added, which is something that that came through really strongly in the feedback, that it would be really good if transporters, for example, could make a comment about where they'd left their stock, which pen, or a producer could say they're in the southern yard, things like that, just in case, just to have that communication down the line. You can also attach documents that will stay with the consignment for the life of its journey now. So this is any additional documents, permits, declarations, anything in particular that you might like to attach to your consignment, you can do that and that will stay all the way through to the end to the buyer. The transport sector can now interact with the web system. So they can, not only can they add comments, but they can also add and remove drivers to consignments. So there's just that extra flexibility built into it now. And the web has been streamlined so it looks and feels more like the app. So there's a more consistent user experience between the two, which we hope will help you all find it easier to use. The access is now directly through the myMLA dashboard, which is another new thing. So you can directly access it now through a button. Once you've linked all your accounts, you can link it through to your myMLA dashboard and just see it there. The big ticket item, the other big ticket item that I would emphasize is just to get a myMLA registered email and to encourage your supply chain to do the same. So your transporter, your agent, because once they've got a myMLA registered email and they're added to the consignment, they will receive the consignment in their eNVD account. There's other ways to share, which Romy will go through, but that's a really streamlined way for them to actually have it that, is now available. So in a nutshell, that's what we've been working on. I'm now going to pass over to Romy, who's going to show you how to do all these things. So Romy, take it away.
Hey, Sherry. Good evening, everyone. Thank you for taking our time to attend tonight's webinar. My name is Romy, and I'm the Product Strategy Manager at ISC, looking after our integrity products. Indeed, this is an exciting time for ISC to be going through these new features with you. As Sherry mentioned, the eNVD website was released back in 2017, and the app was released towards the end of 2022. And since release of the first version of the app, we have released a few iterations where we have continuously rolled out improvements through the mobile app. There's been a lot of enhancements done on the eNVD website to bring the interface in line with the mobile app. These enhancements have been designed in response to industry feedback to deliver a smoother user experience and also to improve accessibility across the supply chain. The new features that I'll be talking about will increase efficiency and convenience for all users across the supply chain. This includes the transporters, agents, sale yard, feedlot, and the processors. All of the new features that I'll be talking about today are applicable to both the mobile app and the eNVD website. However, it's the website that has gone through most of the significant changes. To gain access to eNVD, you need to register for a myMLA account, and then you can start linking in your LPA or NLS account. So let me just jump into my screen and I will show you. So if you've already registered for a myMLA account, good. If not, this is where you need to go and register for one. I've already got a few test accounts, so I'll just log in to the myMLA system. I'll log in with one of my accounts. So after logging in, I will arrive on the myMLA dashboard. This is a brand new dashboard that MLA also released in November last year. On the MLA dashboard, you've got quick access to the MLA services, including eNVD, LPA, Analyze, MSA, MyFeedback, Kubernetes. If you haven't linked your LPA or Analyze accounts, all you need to do is just to go into link services up here, and then you click on the link mode services. So if I was to link any of my LPA accounts, I'll just click on LPA. That will take me to the LPA site. As you can see, I've already got 2 LPA accounts linked to my profile. If I wanted to link a third one, I just click on here, and that will allow me to get that third LPA account to my myMLA login. So I won't do that. Then if I was to link any of my Analyze accounts, I'll just click on Analyze. That will take me to the Analyze page where I can start linking Analyze accounts. I've got 2 Analyze accounts linked here. If I was to link any more accounts, all I need to do is just click on the link account, and I'll be able to link another account in there. So I won't link anymore. Leave it as it is. Come back onto the dashboard and go straight to eNVD. So just click on eNVD. That will take me to the eNVD homepage. So as I land on the homepage, there's a few things that are different from before. So now we have introduced this, this bit on the left here. If you've got more than one LPA accounts or LS accounts, we've given you the ability to switch between accounts. So as I showed you earlier, I had 2 LPA accounts. I had an LS account. So they're all here. If I was to switch between different accounts, I'll just click on the next one. That will take me to the other account. All of my registered programs will be shown here based on which programs I'm accredited for. If I want to go into an Analyze account, I can do that as well. No registered programs, but it will show me all of my consignments. So you might notice that there's a few other accounts. There's a buyer account, there's a viewer account. These are just default accounts that we will assign to all eNVD users. So if you're buying stock from a sale yard, we will give you a buyer account as well. So that will allow you to sort of buy stock from the sale yard. So it's just to the continuation of the eNVD journey. So before we were stopping it at the sale yard, by having this feature rolled out, we can extend the final buyer. So if you're the final buyer, you can have lifetime traceability there. Viewer is basically anyone who does not have a PIC and would like to have access to account, in consignment, so you can link them as a viewer. I'll be talking about viewer later on in this session and then also next week. This section here is the moving today section. This is a brand new section that we've introduced on the web. Basically shows you all of the consignments that are moving today. So anything that's going off your property, coming onto your property will be shown here. Let me just change back to my LPA account. Now, these ones are showing these are consignments that I've created as a producer, and they're going off my property. If I scroll down, this section here, you'll be very familiar with this section. This is where you will find all of your other consignments. So not restricted to this today. Anything that you have created last week, last month, or any future dated consignments, that'll be here. All of the ones that are, we show you the status. So submitted, there'll be some drafts. If you've got some drafts and some completed consignments, they'll all be here. We are giving you the ability to search through this consignment. So you can search using, if I wanted to search all my consignments for QEZZ9999, all of my consignments for this been sort of shown here. If I was to search by a name, for example, if I want to search by Smith, all of my consignments going to Smith or anything relating to Smith will be shown here. I can also search using a registration number for the truck. So EBC123, that's the fake register number that I've created. All of my consignments to this transport company are listed over here. So you have the ability to search consignments. You have the ability to filter consignments. So you can filter by species, you can filter by the status of the consignment, or you can filter by a particular range. And we also give you the ability to sort through these consignments. You can sort by last updated, the movement date, or the created date. I'll just quickly jump into creating a consignment. So click on that. So when I'm creating a consignment, I've presented with two options. So I can start from scratch, or I can start from one of the templates that I've created. So I'll just use start from scratch. Now, when I'm starting a consignment, you'd probably be familiar with all of this. Nothing has pretty much changed here. We just added a few other features to this. So location where they're moving from. So this section will be auto-populated from your LPA profile. You are able to go in and change any of the, update any of this field, except for the PIC. The PIC is locked down to LPA profile. If you are the owner of the animals, fine. If you are not the owner, just click on that. You can add in the owner. So if I wanted to say QBZZ2222 is the owner, I can add the owner to this consignment. Now the next one is where they're being transported to. So this is where you enter your destination PIC. So we've given you the ability to search. So you can search through that. You know the destination PIC already. You can start by just typing it in. If you don't know, you can start by typing in like the name, but you probably won't be like the PIC register would probably be under the trading name or the business name or the property name. So you're not really sure. So this is probably one of the biggest challenges you'll come across, just to find the destination PIC. So the way across it is, here's a tip for you. So if you were to just pick up the phone, make a call to the destination and just ask them, what is your PIC? Make a note of that somewhere. And then you could enter that PIC in here, or just submit a consignment with the PIC, save it as a template. So next time you don't have to worry about, okay, what is the destination? You've got it saved as a template. So I'll just put in a, for example, I want to send it to CVLX, Central Victoria. Livestock. So it's already found. I'll start typing in the name. If I'm typing the right thing, it will find it from the PIC register. So I'll just select that. I'm sending it to the CVLX Saleyard in Victoria. Now the next one is, who are they being consigned to? So if I wanted to add my agent to this consignment, I'll just untick that box and I'll put down QAZZ7777. So this is one of the accounts I've dedicated to be like a agent account on our system. So I'll add my agent. Next, I will just put When are they being moved? So let's say they're moved today, so 6 p.m. Select the species. So we have all the species. So select cattle. And then we get to the form. So if I want to create an NVD, all I need to do is just click on that. If I wanted to fill any additional form for this LPA account, I was accredited for MSA and also the health tech. So I could, if I wanted to, I could fill these forms as well. For the demonstration purpose, I won't do that. Any additional form that you like to fill, we will just ask you one set of questions and we will auto-populate the different forms. So we just made it a little bit easier for you. So click next. Then I will enter the livestock description. So number of heads, I'll just say 50 of the Santa steers. Do I want to draw brain? I'll just say no and I type it in. Say 50 head, 0 Roman tanks. Edit. So I've got that livestock description. If I wanted to add a second description, I'll just click on this button and add that. Click on next. Then I get into answering the questions on the form. So have the livestock been owned since birth? If I say yes, good. If I have said no, any sub-questions based on the response I provide, the sub-questions will return. If I haven't owned them since birth, then I need to tell them, okay, I've owned them for more than 12 months. And also we've got this question mark here. So this is just explanatory notes. So if you're not sure what that question is about, you just click on that. It brings up this explanatory note, gives you a bit more context what the question is and how you're supposed to be answering the question. So just go next. Getting into the food safety questions. So I'll just say no to this question, no animal fats. Now this question here, in the past 60 days, have any of the cattle been fed with byproduct stock feed? So this is where we can start adding attachments about like the food safety question. So if I said yes, it brings up this place where I can start attaching documents. So I can add a byproduct stock feed. I'll just say product 1. And I'm able to upload 5 files. The allowed file formats are PDF, PNG, HEIC, and they can be up to 5 megabytes. So choose one of the files for my computer. Let's just use this one. And one was the date that I last fed it. So let's say sometime in September. Now I've attached that file in here, but if I just wanted to make sure if I've attached the right form, I just click on this link. It will render that file that I just attached on my computer, on the browser. Yes, this is the file I wanted to teach, so all good. I just hit close that button, and then if I want to add a second one, I do the same. Just click on add another. So I can do product 2. As I mentioned, you are able to upload 5 files. So I'll just add an image, for example. As well. So I've added 2 of those attachments. Next question, I'll just say no to this. Go next. Now I'm getting into the chemical treatments question. So I'll just quickly answer no to all of them. I go to the next page. As I'm progressing to the consignment, the system is automatically saving this as a draft. So if I was to ever hit this summary page, it has saved this consignment as a draft. I didn't even have to click on the save draft. System has automatically saved it as a draft. So something was to happen, I close this browser and reopen it, I'll find this in my drafts. So now I'm on the declaration page. This information on this declaration page will be auto-populated from your LPA profile. So I'll just sign this declaration. I'll give my phone number, my email address. I'll keep this thing that I've read and understood the terms. Now this is here, this section here is where you'll add any other documents that you'd like to attach to the consignment. So if you have any permits that you would like to add, just click on this add document so you can attach your other documents. So I'll just say I want to add a permit number 1, Sydney, expiry date of the permit expires sometime in June, and I can upload the file. So again, I can upload up to 5 documents here. Allowed file formats are JPEG, PDF, PNG, HTIC. Let me just find one. I'll just attach this cattle declaration. Again, I can click on this link, see what document have I attached, to make sure I'm not attaching any wrong documents. Yeah, I'm happy with that. Close this. Continue filling the consignment. So any additional information. So if you want to declare that your consignment is antibiotic free, you can put it down here, antibiotic free. Sorry. Antibiotic free. Next. Now I'm on the transporter page, which is an optional information if you wanted to continue filling that, or you can basically at this page, I can submit the consignment as it is. I can save it as a draft, or I could just link in my transporter. So if I wanted to add my transporter, all I need to do is to put the transporter's registered email address. So the transporter needs to register with myMLA system and complete the eNVD profile and declare that they are livestock carrier. So as long as they've done that, you should be able to add the transporter email address here. So IC transporter email.com is one of my test transporter accounts. So I've added that email ID here. This way I've linked this transporter to this consignment. So that transporter logs into the eNVD system. He'll be able to access this consignment. So now I'm done. I can submit. As I hit the submit button, I'm reminded there's only 3 sections that I can update after submitting. So I can change the movement date and time. I can update the livestock description. I can update the transporter details. So I'm happy with that. Submit it. Okay. So once I've submitted the consignment, I'm taken to this consignment summary page. So this is a new page we've introduced on the website as well, where we show you a bit of information about the consignment. So we show you who's the livestock owner, where it's moving from, where it's moving to, what's included in the consignment, what are the forms. So I only selected eNVD. If I did that eNVD MSA, I'll see 3 serial numbers here. And then this section here, we just basically break the consignment up into different sections and show you how complete the consignment is. So movement section, forms, livestock, right down to the transporter section. So I've answered all of my mandatory questions. So I've got a tick next to each of these sections. So this basically tells me on a high level, this consignment is fully complete. So if I left out any of the mandatory questions, this section would have like a instead of it will be a red exclamation mark. As I mentioned, that there are 3 sections that I'm able to edit after submitting a consignment. So I can edit the movement section if I want to change the movement date. I can make changes to the livestock description. So if I was to change that, just click on edit. I click on edit here again. Say while loading, we found out only 49 could be loaded instead of 50. So I just update it to 49. And then hit on save changes. So that has saved the changes on the consignment. So now it's 49 heads in here. I can also make changes to the transport section. So if I was to add, like update the transporter, click on that. If I didn't want this transporter transporting this consignment, I can remove him. I can change that email address. I can add additional drivers if I wanted to. So I can do all of that. We'll cover more on transporters in the next webinar, but I'm just showing you quickly. That's where you can go and edit the transporter section. The comments feature, basically, we've been hearing a lot from the supply chain that there needs to be a communication where people can communicate with each other. So we've introduced this comments feature, basically to replace the note-taking feature that happened on paper. So for example, if the transporter was not going to meet the producer at the time of collection, producer can just write a comment. Animals are left in the southern yard. So transporter can leave this comment. Once the transporter leaves this comment, it cannot be edited or deleted. And the character limitation is 256. So he can leave a comment. Anyone who's been linked to this consignment would be able to see this comment. So the transporter is able to see it, the receiver is able to see it, the agent is able to see it, the owner is able to see it. So we've linked all of them to this consignment. So all of them are able to see it. If I was to go up, this section here, consignment viewers. This is another brand new feature that we've released, basically allowing you to add any other people to this consignment. So if they don't hold a PIC, you can still add them as a viewer. So all you need to do is, as long as they've got a myMLA registered email ID, you can add them to this consignment. So for example, if you wanted to add your accountant, or if you are in Queensland and your agent does not have a PIC, you can add the agent as a viewer. So I've just got some test accounts. So ISC viewer, viewer 4, email.com. So I can add this person as a viewer. Now Ashley Holland has got access to this consignment as well. So now I've got 6 people who can access this consignment: the owner, the creator, who I am, the destination, the agent, transporter, and the viewer. Ashley Holland can also view this consignment. There's no limit to the number of viewers you can add to the consignment. You can add as many as you want. Now, this button here, generate PDF. So this is where you wanted to view this information in the paper form. So if I was to click on that, basically it will render all of that information that I've input digitally into the paper form that you are familiar with. So all of the sections are complete. And if I was to scroll down, any additional forms would be completed, attached in here. Those attachments that are added to the consignment, so this one here, and then this image that I attach as well, and then the cattle permit, they're all over here. So everything that I attach will stay with the consignment for the rest of its life. Nothing is going to get lost, and it will be accessible to all parties who have got access to this consignment. If I was to share this consignment with somebody from my computer, all I need to do is click on share. This is the public URL. I just click on this. Now it says public URL has been copied. I just jump into my email client and I start a new email, paste that link, and then send it off to anyone. So anyone who's got that link, they click on it, they'll basically end up on this page where it shows this PDF, the paper form. Now I will just go back to the consignment summary page. So we have some options as well. After submitting the consignment, we have presented some of these options. So I can save this. If this is a frequently moving consignment, I can save it as a template. I can duplicate this consignment. So if I want exactly same details, I can just click on this button. It will create a duplicate of this consignment. I can generate a PDF, which is the paper form. I can add viewers. I can comment. I can delete consignment. So as I mentioned, there were 3 sections that you can make changes to. If you need to change any of the other sections, so for example, one of these chemical treatment questions you answered incorrectly, you're not able to make changes to it. So the advice is that you go into the options, you duplicate the consignment, so you get a copy of it. And then you make those changes, whatever, answer those questions correctly, submit it, then come back to the consignment, delete it. So that way, we're just making it easier for you, so you don't have to fill out everything from scratch. Duplicate first, complete the consignment, back to this consignment, and delete it. So I'll just go back to this screen, and then all of these features, I can do it from my mobile app as well. I'll just jump into my mobile app, and I'll start sharing screen from there. Okay. So on the mobile app, it's just pretty much the same. Open up the app, accept the privacy policy in the terms of use, log in. I can log in as a guest user, but if I do that, I will be given just very limited functionality. So pretty much just the QR code scanning ability, and I can't be saving any consignments in the guest mode. So the advice is you register for myMLA account, and then you set yourself up with the eNVD account. That way, nothing will ever get lost. So you log in with myMLA user as a myMLA user. If I haven't already signed up, there's a sign up button there, but I've got some accounts, so I'll just log in with the same account. I'll just select the same account from my list. As you can see, I've got quite a few accounts. It's a bit of a challenge trying to find my right account. Let me see where it is. Here we go. Okay, so log in with this account. Okay, so as I log in, the app it's syncing with the backend. So basically what it's doing, it's looking for any offline changes and also updating from the app to the web and pulling down any changes done on the website to the app. So it doesn't take that long to sync. But if you've got a lot of accounts linked to your LPA myMLA login, then the amount of time varies depending on how many accounts you've got linked to your myMLA login. On average, it takes about between 1 to 2 minutes to sync. So now it's finished syncing. Same deal here. So I've got on the top here, I've got my carousel. So I can swipe left and right to go into different accounts. So I've got QCZZ, I've got a QDZZ, and I've got a analyze account. I've got a Saliat account, I've got a buyer account, and a viewer account. So the middle section moving today will change depending on which account you are and what consignments you've got moving today. The bottom options are also like you have seen before. They're there. So if I wanted to just go into view, I've got all of the consignment. The consignment that I just created is right on the top there. If I wanted to create a new consignment, I just go create from a template. Let's just choose one of my templates, which is this one here. When I choose a template, it just shows, okay, these are the information on this template. If I'm happy with it, I can say, yes, use this. So on this template, I've had the owner added there already. So QDZZ3333 is the owner. I'm the source. the animals are moving off by property, QCZZ 8888. I'll go next. Where are they going to? So it's going to QEZZ 9999. So I'm happy with that. And then on this consignment, I've also added the supply to, which is the consignee. So QAZZ777. So that's my agent. So all of them are there. I'll just go next. I need to provide the movement times and date. So let's say it's moving tomorrow, 13th of March, selected time. That says 7:46 a.m. Next. So this was a cattle template. So that species is already selected. The forms are already selected. And then the answers are already pre-filled. So if I'm not sure about any of the questions, all I need to do is tap on the question mark. It will bring up the explanatory note telling me what that question is about and how I should be answering that. So I've got all of these pre-filled. This question here is about the byproduct stock feed. So in the past 60 days, any of the cattle been fed byproduct stock feed? I say yes. And then I can upload up to 5 files, same as the website, 5 files, 5 megabytes each, and JPEG, PDF, PNG, HEIC. So let's just say product 1. Product 1. It was fed sometime in February. And I click on this, upload a file. So let's just choose this one. Okay. And then I'll just continue checking the responses I've provided for the rest of the questions. If I'm happy with that, I'll leave it as it is, or I can make changes if I want to. Next is the livestock description. So let's just say I'm moving 64 Angus, steers. They have 64 analyzed tags, 0 Roman devices. I can type a brand if I want to. Let's say the X. If I want to draw a brand, I can draw a brand as well. Next. Now here I can attach any of the other documents that needs to travel with this consignment. So if I've got a tick permit, so that's fine. This information was populated from my template. I can upload the tick permit. That's a cattle tick permit. Next. Oops, I think I hit it pretty quickly. Let it finish uploading. Yeah, done. Additional information, I can say, yeah, antibiotic free, if I want to do that. Next. Then I get to the final summary. I'm happy with all of that. It still needs to be signed. So I get to the declaration page. All of my information would be pulled from my LPA profile. So if I'm happy with that, I can go ahead and sign this document. Signed it. Next. And now I've got the option to enter the transporter details, or I can save it as a draft, or I could submit it without the transporter details. I can come back and add transporter details later if I want to. So let's just go enter transporter details. This is my transporter email ID. If I'm happy with that, that's fine. I don't need to do anything else. If I'm at the yards and I'm working out of coverage and I'm meeting the transporter at the yard. Now, you probably won't be able to submit this consignment and get it to the transporter's device electronically like that. But what we advise you to do is, if you're at the yards and there's no internet there, get the transporter to fill in the transporter section on your device. So you can just say, Joe driver, vehicle registration number ABC 123. Transporter's phone number 0412345678. Get the driver to sign it on your device. Save it. It's getting moved tomorrow. Time of movement doesn't really, yeah, okay, so that's the time. And get the driver to tick this box here. So he's the person in charge of the livestock during the movement. So do that. So that way we've at least captured all of the transporter details electronically on your phone. Now you can submit this consignment and then just share by QR code. So that way at least the driver can get a full copy of the consignment on his device while you're both out of coverage, and then he can be off on his journey. We're just making sure that he's. So basically you just go in here, bring up share by QR code, brings up those QR code menu. What the driver needs to do is open up the app on his device, tap on receive. That basically opens up the camera and it's looking for QR code. So he'll be able to scan that and get a copy of this consignment on his device while you're both out of coverage. So if he's having difficulties trying to scan that, you can reduce the granularity. So just go to medium or low. It just increases the number of QR codes that you need to scan, but all of the information is the same information. So I'll just go back there. So that's one of the ways you can share the consignment with the driver while you're offline. So if you're online, there's more options available to you to share consignment. So this is the consignment we created. If I was to open it up, if I wanted to add a viewer, you can do that here as well. So just tap on that. I'll add the viewer on my mobile app. ISC viewer. Five. That's my other test account for viewers. Save that. So now I've given Williamson Rural Marketing access to this consignment as well. So we have done that. Now you might be wondering, like, okay, you are both in coverage. You want to share this with your driver by SMS or email. How do you do that? So basically you go into your view screen, you pick a consignment. So the top consignment, this consignment, I go back, tap on the three dots in the top right corner. That will bring up some consignment options. We've got, you can create this you can save this as a template. You can duplicate this consignment. You can add viewer, which we just did. You can add comments. You can generate a PDF. You can share by QR code and you can share by URL. So if I was to tap on share URL, it brings up the share app tray, and I can SMS this to anyone if I want to do so. For example, if I tap on messages, basically it will SMS a link to the PDF to anyone I wanted to share it with. So let's just say I'm going to share it with myself. SMS myself. So I would have received a message. Here you go. If I click on that, this is the consignment on the mobile app. My attachments are there as well. So they all will be shared. I don't need to worry about losing any of that information. So I can do the same, tap on that. I can email it to anyone if I wanted to. I can SMS it to anyone. If I wanted to generate a PDF, if I click on that, I can save it to my files. Let's say I want to save it to my files. If I go into my files, this is the file that I just saved on my phone. So I could attach this to an email as well and send it off to someone who wants to get a copy of this. So all of these options are available to you. And worst case scenario, if your driver or your receiver is asking for a paper copy, you can send this to a printer as well. So, sorry, just tap on the three dots, generate PDF, and I can say print and it will send it to a printer on attached to my Wi-Fi network. So if I'm at home or in the office, I've got this phone connected to a Wi-Fi printer, Wi-Fi hotspot, and my printer is also connected to the same one. I can easily send a copy to my printer and print this off. So yeah, so those are some of the features from the mobile app and the web. Shri, was there anything coming through the chat that people wanted to have a look at in more detail? So
well, there's been lots of questions coming through, which is great. And I think the team have been doing a pretty good job at getting them answered. I did want to just remind everyone that all the questions that have been asked in the lead up to tonight and also during this webinar will be documented and sent out in an email to everyone who's registered to attend this webinar, and we'll do the same for next week's webinar. So it's been excellent to see so many questions coming in and so much engagement with everyone, and we really hope this has been helpful. But that was a great demo, Romy. Thank you very much. It was really good to there is a lot in it. There's a lot to take in. So I think having the video link sent out to everyone so they can watch it again and review will be really useful. Just before we wrap up, because we are nearly out of time, I just wanted to again remind you, here is on your screen now is the link for next week's webinar. If you scan that QR code or click on that link which is in the chat, you can register. So next week, Romy will be back on Monday night to take you through the next batch of features, where we will sort of go into a bit more detail about the transport side of things, because there is a lot to do in that space that needs to be explained. And we'll talk about what to do if you transport your own stock, because we know that's a very common situation, and also adding and deleting transporters. And we'll probably go back into touching on the sharing and how to share again, because there is always a lot of questions around that. And we'll certainly be reviewing what came through tonight and see if there's anything else we can particularly pull out as a focus for next week as well. But yeah, just before you go, there's a feedback survey that will be coming out to you soon. We would love for you to fill that in so you can let us know what you thought of this webinar, because we're really hoping these webinars are useful for you, and any suggestions that you have on other topics or suggestions for how we deliver the webinars that could help us to do them better, we'd be really grateful to have that feedback from you. So there's a survey in the chat that we'd love you to fill in. On the screen now is if you need more support, there is a lot of information on our website. On that first link there, lots of how-to guides, lots of videos. We've developed a lot of resources also for transporters, which we'll be sharing with that sector group to help them understand the eNVD. We have a customer service hotline, 1-800-683-111, that's available for you to call Monday to Friday, 8 a.m. to 7 p.m. Australian Eastern Time, and also the email for envd@integritysystems.com.au in case you have any extra questions that you'd like to ask us or feedback that you'd like to provide, because we're always on the lookout for that as well. This is an evolving journey, and there'll be more coming down the line, so I'd like to keep that interaction happening. But I think we are, how are we going with the questions? We've got a few left to answer, so we're happy to just answer those last few questions. But other than that, thank you, Romy. Thank you, Team IC, for being able to answer all these questions tonight. And we look forward to seeing you all again next Monday to do it all again. Thanks, everyone, and have a great week. Okay.
Thanks,
Bye.
guys. Bye.
See ya.